Good afternoon, folks, and welcome to NYMTC's Program, Finance, and Administration Committee, or PFAC meeting. I'm Ian Francis, representative of New York State Department of Transportation, and today chair of PFAC. Before we begin, I want to point out the emergency exit, should there be an emergency evacuation. There are 3 exits. There's one directly behind you, another to my left, and another further to my left on that wall. If you need assistance to evacuate, please notify the staff of NYMTC. I'll ask that NYMTC staff please raise their hand. Thank you.
Yeah, hello.
Now I'd like to begin this meeting with introductions of the members around the table. I'm asking each member to announce who they are, their agency, and whom they're representing today. Beginning at the table to the far end to my left. Please speak clearly into the microphone.
I'm Dan Moser, Federal Transit Administration Region 2, representing Regional Administrator Steve Goodman.
Bob Rickman, Nassau County, representing County Executive Laura Carmen.
Chris McVoy, Suffolk County, representing County Executive Steve Blow.
Jack Schmidt, New York City Department of City Planning, representing Planning Commission Chair Melissa Lago.
Anne McGrain, New York City Department of Transportation, representing Commissioner Polly Trottenberg.
Jose Rivera, NYMTC Executive Director.
Julia Seltzer, MTA, representing Chairman Joe Lota.
Naomi Klein, Westchester County, representing County Executive George Latimer.
Vinnie Tamanya, Putnam County, representing County Executive Mary Ellen O'Dell.
Lou Banich, Port Authority of New York and New Jersey, representing our Executive Director, Rick Cotton.
David Barron, North Jersey Transportation Planning Authority, representing NJCPA Acting Executive Director Mary Amin.
RJ Palladino, New Jersey Transit, representing Executive Director Kevin Corbett.
Now the members online are represented. We have some members online. Okay, wait. Oh, we have one more member. I'm sorry.
Hannah Greenberg, EPA Region 2, representing Regional Administrator Peter Lopez.
Okay, now the members online, please present themselves. The lines are going to be muted right now. Hello, any members online?
Yes, this is Gautam Mani, Federal Highway Administrator's New York Division, representing Division Administrator Michael Callaghan.
I guess Bill's in, but
okay. All right.
Okay.
Thank you. By my count, under our procedures, we have a quorum for today's meeting. Now we will begin the meeting with comments by NYMTC's Executive Director, Jose Rivera.
Thank you, Ian. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our special PFAC meeting. Today we're holding the special meeting so that the members of PFAC can take action to add the Hudson River Tunnel Project into the fiscally constrained element of Plan 2045. The Hudson River Tunnel Project is a key component of the Gateway program. The existing North River tunnels were badly damaged by Superstorm Sandy, and the project is intended to preserve the current functionality of the Northeast Corridor, the Hudson River rail crossing between New Jersey and New York, and strengthen the resiliency of the NYMTC, Northeast Corridor's corridor. So again, this is a very critical project for this region, and this is the reason for us being here today. like to ask Lou Vanish from the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey, a PFAC advisory member, and Ben Engel, who are, again, both representatives of the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey, to provide a few comments on the project. They will be followed by R.J. Palladino, who is representing New Jersey Transit, and who also will provide a presentation on the project. Lou?
Thank you, Jose, and thank you, members, for agreeing to convene this meeting today. Much appreciated. On behalf of the project partners, the Port Authority, New Jersey Transit, Amtrak, and the states of New York and New Jersey, we appreciate your convening a special meeting. As you know, we're here today for the members to consider a resolution to amend Plan 245 to add the balance of the Hudson Tunnel Project to the fiscally constrained long-range plan. This is another step in the partners' efforts to take every step we reasonably can take in the region to complete the measures that we can that will facilitate the federal actions that would be needed to advance the project. And we appreciate your support. And on that note, I'll introduce Ben, who will speak to the current status, some aspects of the current status of the work.
Thank you. The Hudson Tunnel Project, as my colleague R.J. Palladino from New Jersey Transit will discuss in a few moments, is comprised of three elements for the purposes of the FTA Capital Investment Grant Program process. One, a new two-tube Hudson River Tunnel. Two, Hudson Yards concrete casing, Section 3. And the third element, the rehabilitation of the existing North River Tunnel. The local project partners have secured significant financial contributions, $5.55 billion, or 50% of the $11.1 billion construction costs of the most time-sensitive elements, the new Hudson River Tunnel and the Hudson Yards concrete casing, which have been committed by the Port Authority, New Jersey Transit, and the state of New York, with the other 50% proposed to come from federal discretionary sources, including the FTA Capital Investment Grant Program, as well as FRA and Amtrak sources. The construction costs of the rehabilitation of the North River Tunnel, which would occur after the construction of the new tunnel, is $1.6 billion. All of the anticipated fund sources will supplement the funding already projected for the constrained element of Plan 2045. The Hudson Yards concrete casing, Section 3, was added to the fiscally constrained element of Plan 45 by resolution number 462 on April 12th of this year. As mentioned previously, we're here today for the members to consider a resolution to amend Plan 2045 to add the balance of the Hudson Tunnel Project. Now also RJ to discuss a little bit about the project purpose and the work to date.
Thank you, Ben, and good afternoon, everyone. Again, my name is R.J. Palladino. I'm with New Jersey Transit. I've been the project manager for New Jersey Transit, working on the EIS for the project for about 2 years at this point. And we have an update for you as to where we stand on the project and some general understanding. I will apologize to those of you that have seen me present before on this project. I have very similar presentation, but we want to make sure that everybody's got the same understanding as to where we stand with the project. So the first question that usually comes up is, well, why are you doing the project? And the background is that both tubes of the existing North River Tunnel were inundated with salt water during Superstorm Sandy. The tunnel was closed for 5 days. Although the tunnel was safe for use, storm damage continues to degrade tunnel systems. Long-term, that storm damage can only be addressed through long-term closure and rehabilitation of the North River Tunnel. And this affects approximately 450 trains per day, and we really need to be able to maintain that train volume while the rehab is going. And as we can see from any of the outages that we've experienced over the last couple of years, any perturbed conditions during rush hour is a very serious thing, and why we're trying to find a way to rehab the tunnel and at the same time maintain train service. So our project purpose is to preserve the current functionality of Amtrak's Northeast Corridor, strengthen the Northeast Corridor resiliency, and achieve these improvements with uninterrupted rail service. Our project goals, therefore, are to improve service reliability and upgrade the existing tunnel and infrastructure in a cost-effective manner, maintain uninterrupted Northeast Corridor service by ensuring that the North River Tunnel is rehabbed as quickly as possible, strengthen the Northeast Corridor's resiliency, facilitating long-term infrastructure maintenance and enhanced operating flexibility, not to preclude future Trans-Hudson investments, and minimize impacts on the built environment. So the way that we get to this is by advancing a project through the NEPA process, or the National Environmental Policy Act. Before providing funds or issuing permits, federal agencies must consider the environmental effects of the projects. In this case, this is achieved by preparing an environmental impact statement for the project. Our project partners, which are well diversified across the region, include the Federal Railroad Administration, which is the federal lead agency for NEPA, NJ Transit as the co-lead local agency for NEPA, Amtrak, who's been advancing project design and engineering, and the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey, that's adopted the role of project sponsor and has been responsible for project development and coordination. But it's important to mention that we have not been going this route alone. We've been working extensively with federal, state, and local agencies to share information about the project that's been developed, to make sure that we are in good consultation on what we'll need in terms of permits and information that those agencies need to know to be able to make decisions on the project. I'd like to highlight that the Federal Transit Administration and the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers are cooperating agencies with the project, which just means that they have further involvement with the project. They're kept even a little bit more up to speed on the details of how the project has been advanced. We've worked with other federal agencies and state and local agencies on both sides of the Hudson River. During the alternatives evaluation process, we reviewed potential alternatives, including looking at alternatives from the previous access to the region's core project, alternatives presented during project scoping, and alternatives that were also suggested during the scoping process. We've identified one build alternative that meets the purpose and need, which is construction has been talked about, of a new two-track tunnel connecting east of Secaucus Junction into New Jersey, and then into Penn Station, under the Hudson River, and into Penn Station, New York, and then the rehabilitation of the existing tunnel. So just to talk about that in a little bit more detail, because oftentimes there's a tunnel and tubes, and that's something I find that some people get confused. So when we're talking about the Hudson River Tunnel, we're talking about two tracks in one tunnel. And this is, so it's one tunnel, which is technically two tubes, but essentially it's two tracks as part of that new investment. Again, diverting from the Northeast Corridor in Secaucus, going underneath the Palisades, underneath the Hudson River, and connecting into existing Penn Station, New York. There are 3 ventilation facilities that have been identified, one in New Jersey, one in New York, and one which is an enhancement of the existing ventilation facility here in New York. When that work is done, and only when that work is done, there would be the rehabilitation of the existing tunnel. When that rehabilitation is done, both tunnels, 4 tubes, would be in service for both Amtrak and New Jersey Transit. There's a little bit better map that shows you some of the points of interest on the project. We have to the west the proposed new tunnel portal, proposed ventilation facility at the Hoboken-Weehawken border, proposed ventilation facility just as we get across the river at Block 675 here in New York between 29th and 30th Streets, and then a proposed ventilation facility that's already existing. The white dotted line is the existing North River Tunnel, and that's the tunnel that we currently use today by both New Jersey Transit and Amtrak. One of the questions that we get often is how does this project compare to the ARC project? And there are some similarities and some differences. It is smaller in impact area. The scope of the project is really to build a new tunnel and rehab the existing North River Tunnel, which was not part of the prior ARC project. It does not include, for this particular project, the loop tracks, a new storage yard for rail equipment. It does serve existing Penn Station, New York, and it has a more shallow approach to Manhattan under the Hudson River. We were deeper with the prior project, but that was to serve a new station complex in New York. Common elements, the surface tracks approaching the tunnel in New York, 2 new tubes beneath the Palisades, Hoboken, and the Hudson River, and generally the same alignment and depth in New Jersey. A point of integration, where we've talked and Ben has talked and there have been previous actions on the concrete casing and phase 3 that's still yet to be built. You can see from this map here where the Hudson Tunnel Project will be connecting to the concrete casing project. Sections 1 and 2 have been complete. Section 3 is to be built, but has been fully designed and engineered. And prior actions taken by NYMTC have provided for that already in the fiscally constrained long-range plan. In terms of the environmental impact statement, it compares the preferred alternative to the no-action alternative, conditions if the project is not built. Evaluates impacts to both the natural and human environment, both during construction and after construction, and it identifies measures to reduce and avoid impacts or mitigations. The draft environmental impact statement was released last July 2017. We had hearings in August, and we have been working to update and finalize the final environmental impact statement, which is the basis for the record of decision that would be issued by the Federal Railroad Administration. In terms of what's analyzed under the environmental impact statement, pretty much everything of the project could affect, everything from traffic, air quality, property acquisition, historic impacts, visual, noise and vibration, a whole laundry list of things that you should be concerned about when you're building the project. And again, both looking toward the impacts that would affect as the project is being built and once the project is in operation. It's a rigorous process, and we've had a lot of input from the public on that project as we've been going through the analysis. One of the areas of special concern that we have is historic and archaeological resources, Section 106 of the Historic Preservation Act. It identifies historic properties. The North River Tunnel and the Hudson River Bulkhead are 2 such properties that the project has impacts, and identifies mitigations, again, to avoid, and those are set forth. Those mitigation actions are set forth in a programmatic agreement, which basically commits the actions that will be taken to minimize the impacts of those historic resources. In terms of schedule, and this is a fairly important portion of it, is that the EIS and the environmental impact statement that we produce is really the beginning of what is a significant amount of work that needs to be done, including the construction of the Hudson River Tunnel, and then after that, the North River Tunnel, taking us out just about to 2030 at this point. So the work needs to start as soon as possible. We're working with our federal partners to move the project forward as quickly as it is possible to do so. In terms of project status, and I covered this a little bit in my remarks, but just to go through again, we're working on updating the final environmental impact statement to address public comments. We're working with the permitting agencies to develop early permit applications. 30% design has really, from a technical standpoint, been completed by Amtrak, but there is still some work to coordinate and finalize that with the Federal Railroad Administration. One of the big things that we'll be working towards is the approval of the FEIS and the ROD of the Federal Railroad Administration, and at that point, we would be able to finalize permits and other approvals. One of the other elements that is important, and this is sort of where it goes from the environmental impact statement to the funding side of things, is to have the project in the MPOs, and this is both MPOs, both the NJTPA and NYMTC's fiscally constrained long-range plan. At NJTPA, the project is in the fiscally constrained long-range plan. At NYMTC, there was a prior resolution, number 462, for the Hudson Yards Concrete KC Phase 3. And the action that we're taking today is for the balance of the Hudson Tunnel Project, which is the Hudson River Tunnel. Finally, I can point out, this is a big project, fairly complex project. We have a couple different resources that you can consult to get more information about the project. Any of the public meetings that we have, any of the documents that have been approved by FRA are posted on the HudsonTunnelProject.com website. In addition, the Gateway Program Organization has a project website, and also Amtrak has information. We find by working together with these project partners, there's a great deal of information and disclosure about the project, and that's what we've really been working to do as part of the environmental impact statement. So with that, thank you. I'll send the program back to NYMTC.
Thank you, Roger. We're now at the public participation portion of our meeting. We have 2 registered speakers. Okay. Thank you. We will start the public participation segment of the meeting. We set aside 15 minutes of the agenda to hear from registered speakers. We will hear from these speakers in the order that they registered to speak for the duration of the allotted time. We ask that all registered speakers limit your comments to relevant transportation and planning-related items and to less than 3 minutes so we can hear from as many speakers as possible in the allotted time. If you have written comments, you can give them to me when you approach the microphone in the front of the dais. My first speaker is Bruce. You don't look like Bruce.
No, I don't think my
Oh, Bruce Payne is our first speaker. He's the representative.
Okay. Now, am I supposed to stand here? Oh, I guess so. All right. Well, this is good. My name is Bruce Payne. I have a website, rail-nyc-access.com, and it's a little difficult to remember, so I have several calling cards here so you can get a look at my alternative proposal. Improvements over the years at Penn Station have about double passenger capacity versus what it was in 1910. And planners are to be congratulated for that, and the new Moynihan Station. The problem is train capacity, and there is no gateway proposal that addresses that in any honest form. The 2013 drawing is the only definitive drawing, and it's a joke, and shows impossible alignments west of the platforms with 4 tight reverse curves in a row. And in the drawings from the draft EIS, they're still fudging it. The connection to the box is impossible, as drawn. And besides, it would result in train capacity that's woefully inadequate versus the original stated purpose. I hope they haven't already sunk the central piles in the box under the proposed track work because it's too high and should not be permitted on environmental grounds alone. If you're familiar with the huge ground stabilization project in the bottom of the river designed to remediate the stupid vertical alignment of the box. It's unprecedented. It's a huge billions and billions dollars project, just the ground stabilization. My website goes into some detail, and this project has been in the works for 25 years. I think likelihood of recovering damages in some instances for the affected agency, state and federal, is quite good, and I'm optimistic we can come up with a more appropriate plan. I mean, you have no passenger interface in Manhattan. That's the purpose of the project. There's no capacity. There's no train capacity. In any case, I urge you not to include the Hudson Tunnel Project in your in the regional plan. And I have some things here. You can go to get some cards from the website. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Our second speaker will be Arlo Getz.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Orrin Getz. I'm the Vice Chairman of the Metro North Rail Commuter Council, which is part of the Permanent Citizens Advisory Committee to the MTA. And I am glad to see this resolution on the PFAC agenda. Having physically constrained plan approved is a critical step in moving this project forward. And it's one of the objections that the FTA has. If we didn't have one, now we have one, and I'm glad to see it moving ahead. I'd also like to see if it's possible to get a copy of this presentation, that somehow it can be sent out to people, because I would like to have it and I would like to use it and show it to people. Many people from Rockland County, I'm the only one that showed up today, could see this, and I think it would be a great help in moving the project ahead if more people could see this. So please make it available. I'll give you my card and how it can be sent. The final thing, and I've brought this up many times, we need, and we're working with the North Jersey Transportation Planning Authority, a comprehensive plan of how we're going to move people and freight across the Hudson River. I mean, the only way a freight train can run right now is up to Selkirk and outside of Albany to come down the river on the other side. And if you ever take a look at the Cross Bronx Expressway, you can see the result of it. It's jammed with trucks, and they're going nowhere. And that's just a problem. And, of course, our rail transportation, even with this tunnel, is still going to be stressed. And with all the work at the Lincoln Tunnel, it even proves that with the helix, it's really a problem adding more buses. In fact, you can't do that. So we need a better overall plan. One of the things that should be considered is a plan that Mayor Bloomberg's planners had done, and that's an extension of the number 7 subway train to Secaucus. This is really something that should be included in a future transportation plan. And originally, New Jersey Transit was for this project, and I hope they would do something to help move it ahead. We need cooperation on both sides of the Hudson River for this. It's really vital. It's in addition to the project building new Amtrak tunnels under the Hudson River. We need both. Thank you.
Thank you. Our third speaker is Joseph Clift.
Should I donate money so you can get a second podium for us? This is very awkward, very unprofessional. My name is Joseph Clift. In a past life, I was head of planning at the Long Island Railroad. I'm now an advocate for regional rail transportation. I've been involved in ARC for so long, it's ridiculous. But I want to talk today about the issue before you. Under federal law, you cannot add this to your constrained plan. I could talk about the excessive cost. This single piece of Gateway is now more than the entire cost of ARC was in 2010. It provides no additional capacity. It is way over scoped. The consultants have really taken this to the cleaners. But what I want to talk about today is your plan to put this into the fiscally constrained 2045 plan. To do that, it has to be self-financing. There's not enough money. I think your plan is $23 billion in system expansion in the out years of 2045. There's no way that you can take some of those projects out to finance part of this. And the Hudson Tunnel Project has a hole of over $4 billion. Now, you heard today about financing. 4.3 of that is two RIP loans from the feds. Unfortunately, if you add the Fed loans and the grant that they're asking for, it comes to 81%, 83%, I think, of the total project price. The FTA has set a limit of 50% in grants and loans together. That is an absolute ceiling, so you're basically short $4.2 billion. Without that, you cannot put this into the plan because it's not financed. If you think you can change the minds of the FTA, look at the almost 20 projects that are in the pipeline right now for core capacity and improvement grants, new starts grants, and you'll find only 2 are over that 50% threshold. One in North Carolina at 61%, one in Seattle at 60%. The only project that's looking for this kind of money is the Hudson Tunnel Project. And I urge you not to put it in. If you put it in, the feds are going to throw it right out. It does not qualify. What needs to be done is let's stop this myth that you can spend $14 billion and at no capacity, come up with a more cost-effective, service-effective plan, and then resubmit. Thank you. I have copies of my statement for people who want it.
And our fourth and final speaker is Val Spielman. Oh, you did not? Okay. All right. So.
Could I ask that all of you get a copy of my notes, my presentation?
I believe.
Could I ask, did everybody get a copy?
We are going to pass it around, but I have access.
I would like to, because I had that time before I spoke.
This is the time for if there is any speaker online. So far, this is a chance that you have to speak right now. Right about now. Is there anyone? Okay, so again, is there anyone online who would like to speak? This is your chance.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
You gotta come closer to the microphone.
Well, I'll do my best. That's the picture comes and goes. My name is Bill Callaghan. Can you hear me okay now?
We can hear you, but could you speak a little louder, please?
Yeah, I will do my best. How's that?
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
Just a very brief statement. My name is Bill Callaghan. I'm Executive Director of the Eastern Hudson Rail Freight Task Force. The Eastern Hudson Rail Freight Task Force 1 supports the construction of at least one new single-track railroad tunnel under the Hudson River that can be used both by passenger and freight trains. 2, reminds the EIS management team that many individuals, organizations, some with substantial railroad operating engineering experience, submitted comments, suggestions, and professional quality supporting materials in response to the draft environmental impact study and awaiting for a reply or some kind of announcement. You heard some here today. 3, as a way to recover the lost time and avoid possible legal challenges, the EOA strongly urges the NJT Hudson Tunnel EIS project management to find a way to respond and engage professionally and with transparency the individuals and organizations that have commented and made recommendations on the draft soon. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Is there anyone else who would like to speak? Going once. Hello? Is anyone else who would like to speak?
The one that used to be there is the one in the conference room.
I guess no. Okay. This ends the online participation meeting. Thank you.
Okay. That'll probably get moved back here after this.
This completes the public participation portion of our meeting. Now we're on to our action items. We will begin with the action items on the agenda. The first action item is to accept the June 28, 2018 meeting synopsis, which is available on the sign-in table. I'm requesting all members to announce your name and the agency you represent when you make a motion or second a motion. Motion to accept the June 28, 2018 meeting synopsis.
I have changed first. Chris McBoy, Suffolk County, on page 3, section 6, probably be D6, third paragraph, under Mr. Chris Chatterton representing Vanessa Suffolk, the word South should not be in there. Because we're not. We're just Vanessa Suffolk Transportation Coordinating Committee. That's all.
Okay, we'll have that removed. Motion to accept the June 28th meeting synopsis as revised.
So moved, Jack.
Jack Schmidt moves. Do I have a second?
Second, Naomi Klein, Westchester County.
Naomi Klein, second. Is there any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? The motion passes. The next action item is to adopt resolution number 471, amendment to the fiscally constrained element of the federal fiscal years 2018 to 2045 Regional Transportation Plan 2045 to add the Hudson River Tunnel Project. Copies of the resolution are available on the sign-in table. I will ask Jen Kahn to introduce the resolution.
Thank you very much.
Great. Thank you very much, Chairman. Good afternoon, everyone. Chairman, PFAC members, you heard a lot about the Hudson River Tunnel Project. So in addition to the information that was provided by both New Jersey Transit and the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey, you have in your packages some additional information which supports Resolution 471. So I wouldn't go over any description of the project, but rather I just ask you for your support in adopting Resolution 471, which seeks to add or to include the balance of the Hudson River Tunnel into the fiscally constrained element of Plan 2045.
Thank you, Jen. Motion to adopt resolution number 471, amendment to the fiscally constrained element of the federal fiscal year 2018 to 2045 Regional Transportation Plan 2045 to add the Hudson River Tunnel Project. Bob Rickman, Nassau County moves the motion. Do I have a second?
Second, Benny Tamanya, Putnam County.
Benny Tamanya, Putnam County, second the motion. All in favor say aye. Oh, I'm sorry. Is there any discussion?
Yeah, I just wanted to mention on behalf of the North Jersey Transportation Planning Authority that we certainly appreciate NYMTC taking this action today. Obviously, there's a lot of work to be done on this project, but we're optimistic that it's going to move forward, and this is a really important step that's being taken today. As was noted in the presentation, our long-range plan already contains this project as part of the fiscally constrained element approved by FTA and FHWA. So we're optimistic about this going forward, and thank you very much for having us on the agenda today and taking this action.
Thank you. Any more discussion?
Just one note with respect to the fiscal constraint issue is I think the staff and members are aware the Port Authority's needs and resources are not part of the fiscal constraint equation for NYMTC or NJTPA. So our proposal to the project and I believe some of the other resources in the package are outside of that envelope. So we're just noting that for information.
Thank you. Any additional discussion? All right, so all in favor of this motion, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you, John. The next feedback meeting is scheduled to be held on Thursday, September 20th, 2018, here at the NYMTC offices located at 25 Beaver Place in Lower Manhattan. I'll ask for a motion to adjourn. Beaver Street. Oh, Beaver Street. Okay, I live on a place, that's why I'm sorry. That's a motion to adjourn the meeting. And Bonnie moves it. Do we have a second? And McGrain, New York City DOT, seconds the motion. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes. Thank you.
those streets, like that road, Avenue, Drive.
Actually, that's your run. I've seen like a run, but